What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. So today is the day that I'm finally going to stop neglecting this thing and finally get to the maintenance that needs to be doing on the Mighty Micra. So I've been neglecting this thing for a while just because we've been so busy. I haven't had any time to really do it. The little time that we have had has been like one day, and what I need to do with it I think is going to take over 2 days. So usually if there's one day I've been choosing to do work on like the LS car or like pull the LS down and stuff like that. But the timing chain rattle in this thing is now getting real bad, so it's time to definitely tend to it and actually sort this thing out and get it done. So while I do this maintenance, I'm going to be putting some lowering springs in it. So I'm going to drop the whole thing 30 mil all round. So I just thought I'd take some drone shots and get some shots for you. You know, so you can see some befores and I'll do some afters as well. So I've been driving the Mighty Micra around for a few weeks now, doing the daily drive. It is costing literally half as much in petrol as the Falcon was. But I'm still unsure if I'm going to keep it or not. So I'm still thinking about putting it up for sale at tax time, but I need to do this maintenance nonetheless. So I'll wait for it to cool down and we'll get it on the hoist and we'll get into it. Also guys, if you're watching this, it means there is merch available. So head to the link in the description, go to the online store and grab yourself some stickers. There are shirts coming soon. However, they're not in stock yet, but bear with me for some shirts, but go and grab yourself some stickers. Well, here she is, all 1.3 litres of Fury. Bit of oil leakage going on, bit of weepage. So I'll just take you through what we're actually doing to the big rig today. So what I have here, our 30mm King's lowering springs. Now this car, it was slammed on coilovers. The old owner had it really, really low. And he lifted it up to sell it, obviously to get roadworthy and that sort of thing, which is why it's actually already got an adjustable panhard in it. But as much as I love driving this thing, it is very much fun to drive. It does feel quite sloppy in the steering. Like it feels a little bit, you know, average. So I'm really hoping that these lowering springs will help it out, just a little bit of stiffness. But I didn't want to go to coilovers because it is a daily and it drives a long road, which is not that great. I wanted it to ride quite nice. I didn't want it to be super stiff on coilovers. So a little bit of stiffness, a little bit lower. That being said as well, is I'm pretty sure after the owner lifted it up on the stock springs, he didn't get it realigned, which could have a lot to do with why it feels a little bit sloppy as well. So I want to get the King springs in there, get the panhard set, and I want to take it to get aligned properly with the new ride height in it. And hopefully that sort of sorts out my handling issues and hopefully it handles a little bit better. That being said, it's not a power steering car. It is just, you know, manual steering. So it does have big high profile tires on it. So it could just be the way it handles. But I'll do everything in my power to try and get it to handle in a bit better. So we've also got classic oil and a filter, a little bit of a service, new timing set. So complete timing set with new gears. Given that this thing is 70,000 Ks old, it's a very low Ks car, that's most of the reason why I bought it. It is very likely that everything in this thing is just stock as a rock from factory. So I'd say the timing chain has never been done. It's probably never had a birthday like this before. This is probably the first time for this car for a lot of things. We've got here brand new drive shafts, so both sides brand new. They came with the car, so obviously they were earmarked for future maintenance that never got done, but we're going to do them today. And a new clutch. So I decided to do the timing kit. It's a lot easier just to pull the motor or potentially drop the K-frame. We're just going to look at how we're going to go about it at the moment. Either way, I thought while the motor's out of the car, it's going to be easiest to do the clutch as we go. So the pickup point for this clutch is very, very high. And again, 70,000 Ks, I would expect it to still be the stock clutch. So that being said, I don't think there's a lot of life left in it, so I thought I may as well change it while everything's apart. So we've got ourselves a Clutch Industries little clutch here for it. It's so cute, look how small it is. It's so tiny. Look at that clutch plate. Look at it, just look at it. So goddamn small. Everything else on this car. So, new clutch, new drive shafts, new timing chain, new springs, and a service. And we should be right to rip. After that, yeah, set the panhard, do an alignment. And that's pretty much how it's going to be at the moment. Like I said to you guys, yeah, I'm still thinking about potentially putting this up for sale after tax time. Probably for an absurd amount of money, but it is a very clean, low Ks example of a K11. So it could be very sought after. Again, I'm not... It's one of those things, I'm enjoying driving it. It is nice and cheap, but it is a very, very long drive. It's all like 100 Ks an hour, and if you want to pass someone, you've got to do more, which this car is just, I don't think it was ever designed to do that sort of drive. It's not a very nice road, and I've got to share it with a lot of very, very big vehicles. So it is still a little bit sketchy in this car. It's a little bit, I would lie if I didn't say I thought about it a little bit, especially considering how much time I spend on the road. It does seem a little bit unsafe. But so if I can get the sort of money I want to get for it after all this maintenance is done at tax time, someone might have some spare cash, they want to snap it up, I'll let it go. But if not, and it doesn't sell, well, then I'll keep it. That's not a big deal at all. So anyway, we'll put some boots on and we'll try and decide how we're going to attack this whole situation. But I'm pretty excited to see it lowered 30mm on these wheels. I think it's going to look pretty cool. All right, Mighty 1.3. Yeah, actually, what a prick to work on. Not much fun at all. Anyway, you can see here, like, timing chain, to do timing chains in these things, I'm pretty sure you can do them in car. There must be a way, but looking at that and looking at how much stuff was in the way, I was just like, by the time you fight and battle to do it in there, just better off just pulling the whole thing out of the car. So that's why I decided to do everything at once as well. So that's where we're at. Anyway, it's proven to be fairly difficult, especially the fact that I want to try and hang the aircon pump because I don't want to regas the system. So I'm hoping to try and hang that and take the alternator off and be able to get everything just straight up and out. But we had to look at what would be easier, to dropping the K-frame or pulling the whole thing out. But by the time you take the drive shafts out, which I'm changing anyway, and doing everything else to the car, it with the exhaust and everything, it actually worked out. It's pretty much just as easy to pull it up and out, we believe. So that's what we're working at doing. Had to remove the battery tray and everything just to get it out of the way. And to get it out without disturbing this aircon line, it's going to have to be like a bit of a pain. It's going to suck. It's not going to be the best thing. But anyway, at least when it's all done, it'll be all freaking done. But yeah, I'm not filming much of what we're actually doing as far as working on it goes, because we've never worked on anything like this before and it probably wouldn't do us much justice. So just filming a little bit as we go. Alright, for such a little car, it sure is a really big pain in the ass, but we did manage to get everything out. That's all sweet. We didn't have to disturb the power, the aircon, which is awesome, so obviously they don't have to get that regassed. It sucked though. It was not much fun, but it's out. We got it out. We took it out top and it's out. We pulled the gearbox off and had a look. The rear main seal has definitely been leaking. It's not too bad, obviously it's not too bad, but you could definitely tell when you took the gearbox off that there was oil all around it, so it is obviously going to get worse by the looks of things. So ordering one of those, just going to replace those with that while we're at it. I know a lot of people just do them generally for maintenance when they get this far anyway, but my whole consensus usually is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got more chance of disturbing a rear main seal by putting a new one in when you don't need to than you do of having one just randomly start leaking. But considering this one has started leaking, I'm going to have to order one in. Again, because I don't normally do them unless I have to, and this one wasn't really showing mad signs of it outside the car. I hadn't had one ready, so had to call up and order one of them. The clutch is actually not as bad as I expected it to be. There's definitely some more life left in that, but again, it's not great, and I've got a new one there anyway, so new one will be going on. Firewall looks fine. I'll just whiz that up. It won't need a machine at all, so that's good. I did find that the engine mounts, again, not too bad, but not too great either. Like, not completely gone to the point where the motor would have been moving around at all, but they're starting to show signs of cracking. Particularly this one on this side, I'm definitely going to replace that as we go because it's going to be a real prick to do in the car. I've tried to order both sides. Apparently this side, they got no stock in the country or something like that. But at least it's the one on the top, on that side of the motor. There's not really anything in the way. It'll be quite easy for me to do that in the car. I can just sort of jack it up a little bit, do that mount in the car. It's not going to be a big deal. So at the very least, the one that they can get is the one that's going to be really hard to do. So it's definitely the one I'll replace as I go. And yeah, I'll do that when I can if it gets to that point. But after doing this, I've just decided I really don't want to take the motor out again, ever. So I'm really just looking at covering all bases of all preventative maintenance to do while it's out at this point. And yeah, considering that was leaking, that rear main, I'm going to try and get another one. I'm going to try and get a throw-out bearing as well because I realised the clutch kit didn't actually come with one. But again, sounds like there may not be any stock in the country. So this throw-out bearing feels and sounds fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. But again, it's another one of those things that's just good to do with the clutch kit. Spigot as well, although it looks like it appears that these things don't really particularly use a spigot. They've got this weird, yeah, it's not even a spigot, it's just the end of the crank. So it's just like the shaft actually is just tapered and runs in the end of the crank. Bit strange, but obviously they don't really use any sort of spigot. So, and that's pretty much covering all bases of checking everything. It turned out to be, yeah, we'll put the new clutch on that flywheel. That flywheel's fine. Replace the rear main seal. Lucky for us, it's on one of those plates like an RB or a J or an LS. Any of your sort of more modern cars, I sort of decided to put them on plates, which makes them a lot easier to do. But yeah, it means that this may sort of turn out to be a bit longer than just a 2-day adventure of just trying to do everything and get it back in the car. It may turn into a bit longer of a project, which is why we decided to set everything on the pallet. But you get that. Anyway, I've still got to do all the timing gear, so I've still got plenty to do. We're going to go look at another car at the moment, another job sort of thing. So we're going to just leave it for now. This whole exercise took us about 3 hours, so you know, certainly no easier than a full-size car. I'll tell you that much. It's yeah, what a pain this little thing was. But anyway, it is what it is. Got to do what you got to do. So we'll go do this and have some lunch and come back, and I'll keep going, and hopefully in that time the parts shop gives me a call back and gives me some good news and says they can get everything for me that I need, and it'll be here in the morning. But anyway, you know, if I have to, I'd rather leave everything sort of out of the car and leave it like this for an extra 2 days just to make sure I get everything done, rather than rush it back together and miss things and not get things done that are easier to do at the moment. At least this way I know once it all goes back in, like all that stuff is brand new, all preventative maintenance has been done, and that way if I do chuck it up for sale and decide to sell it, at least everything's done. I don't have to worry about it. And if I don't, well then I shouldn't have to worry about it for another sort of at least 50,000 Ks. So I just really wish I didn't have to do it. It's not what dailies are supposed to be about. Righto guys, so another little oversight by myself. I sort of assumed that new CVs would come with new seals or output seals for the gearbox, but they don't. So I've had to order some new seals, so they're not going to be until Friday as well. So yeah, definitely not going to be happening sort of in 2 days as I expected it was going to, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, it's the way it is. At least everything gets done properly and only gets to get done once. So the Hilux is back here already. You can guess what happened to that. It's got a broken diff now, so that's cool, so we have to sort that out. But anyway, this thing's actually not that hard for me to get rolling again. I just got to chuck the struts back in, put the wheels back on the front, and it's rolling again. So thinking about putting my King springs on my struts while they're out at the moment. Chuck it back in, chuck the struts back in, put the front wheels back on, and then we can sort of push it out of the way of the hoist. That motor's there for me to do my timing and stuff. I'll probably do that tomorrow now. It's getting a bit late. And obviously I'm not in a rush to get it back in the car now, so it is what it is. So I'll probably do that tomorrow, but at least I'll get the car out of the hoist bay so it's not in our way for like the next couple of days while I wait for these parts. So we'll pick up this video later on, I suppose. Oh, actually, if I put those springs in, I'll film a bit more. I'm going to install these new springs just to get it rolling again so we can push it outside. Plus it's another thing that's done, so it makes sense to do it. I don't think I can really adjust the pan height until the motor's back in it though, because it's like half the weight of the car. But anyway, springs, springy boys. So we've got our Nagasaki death traps out. These are always fun to play with. We got to try and compress some springs onto some coily boys, which is always good fun. Fingers crossed we don't hurt ourselves.
Put this little rubber boot back on it.
So there you go guys, that's the difference. So you can see a lot more coils in a lot smaller space, which means a little bit stiffer, which should hopefully handle a lot better without the cost of going to a full coilover setup, and obviously look way more gangster and way more street cred like, sitting low on those little dragways.
Which is what you need when you're driving a Micra.
Exactly.
You need all the street cred
Why else do you buy one? Look at it. Anyway, it goes without saying, we got one spring off without anything going horribly wrong, so hopefully we can keep this roll up. Righto guys, so we have 1, 2 over there, and also got the rears in. And they're all set up, and nothing went terribly wrong so far. Yeah. None of us got face injuries or eye injuries. Also the power's just out, which is just one of the things that happens here for no reason. So anyway, now all we've got to do is whack the front struts back in, and then we'll put the front wheels back on, and then this thing can go back on the ground, get rolled outside under the cover, out of the way until such a time as this big lump of crap is ready to go back in. Righto guys, it's on the floor. Sits higher than before. Anyway, you get that when more than half the weight of the car is sitting on a pallet, so it probably realistically is about half the weight of the car. It's going to be funny pushing it actually because it's just going to be so light. But anyway, that's it on the ground rolling on all King springs now, so we're getting closer to getting done what we wanted to get done, but unfortunately we just got to wait for parts, which is just a thing that happens. But lucky for us, we didn't actually drop the K-frame, and this is all able to just be pushed and moved around. So we'll put it outside and we'll pick this video up when I get some parts, probably on Friday. So peace out, guys. Oh, we'll see you in a minute anyway. I'm not going to end the video. So. All right, guys. So we had a bit of a setback. We had some other stuff we had to do, but going to continue on with this Micra stuff at the moment. So can go along and go ahead and do the timing. We were looking at it to do the main seal and the timing where we've got to get at. We've got to pretty much get at the sump at both ends anyway. So at this point, we're thinking about just, we're just going to chuck it on a stand and flip it over and pull the sump. I was hoping to avoid it, but it's just going to be easier, I think, to do it. So we're going to drag a stand in here, get this thing on a stand, and it's going to make it easy to do the timing kit anyway, so may as well do it. So I've got the timing kit done today, and then hopefully by Friday, I've got a lot of the parts I need to get it back together and back in the car. So, but I'm just going to have to play it by ear and see how it goes. Righto, so this is the timing kit that I've got. I think I said before, it is the one with the actual gears. I decided just to get the whole thing because I figured I'm not going to be wanting to do this again anytime soon. But it doesn't come with a new front main seal, which really grinds my gears. I mean, what a pain in the ass. Obviously you have to disturb the front main seal to do the timing kit. Why wouldn't you put a front main seal in the kit? Every other timing kit you ever get comes with a front main seal if you need one. I think even like RB kits and stuff, you don't even have to disturb the front main seal, and they still give you a new one with the kit when you do timing belts. So it really pisses me off, but anyway, it is what it is. So I don't have any front main for it, so hopefully we can just take it off and it should be fine to just chuck it back on. As long as the seal's not damaged, it should be okay. So we will find out. Anyway, it's all on the engine stand. Not going to do this in the engine room because it is full. There's no room in there, so just going to do it out here with some bench space. Not a big deal anyway. It's only time and change. Shibby. Anyway, we'll get cracking on this and hopefully get this all done today, or at least the timing kit, and then later on it'll be just whatever's left. Righto, so I was sitting there stewing and getting real pissed off about the fact that this kit doesn't come with a front main, and I actually already called and ordered one, but I realised that an RB front main is actually exactly the same. Seems to be the correct seal, which obviously I have a lot of these lying around from heaps of stuff. Because with RB stuff, like with gates, your timing kit comes with front mains and cam seals, and your water pumps usually come with front mains and cam seals as well, so you usually always have heaps left over when you do a build. And the cam seals and the front main are the same on the RB, so I've got like literally shitloads of these. So that seems to be the right one. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that, and hopefully it doesn't leak. That's what I'm hoping, because when we pulled the balancer off, it actually a bit of oil came through, so I don't think the front main was too stoked anyway. So yeah, new front main, that's good. Alright, so we're getting to the bottom of it, we're getting to the point. Yeah, definitely a good call pulling this out of the car. Screw trying to do this while it was in the car. You got like chassis rail right here. Definitely, I don't even think it would work. So definitely not the sort of thing that's meant to be done inside the car. So definitely a pretty big job, obviously, doing the timing chain on one of these things. I guess that's why a lot of these motors had chains on them, so that they were, longer periods between maintenance than a belt. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, definitely the right call pulling it out. So anyway, now we're just going to wind this over the top dead and just closely inspect all the gears that are here and the timing marks that are here and what they correlate to, and just make sure we have the same marks in our new gears and everything, just to double check and ensure that we definitely get this timed right. Because like I don't know if you've noticed, but I've not even looked up how to do this or what we're sort of doing, just sort of winging it. Anyway, it's just a matter of paying close attention as you go and making sure that you have everything to reassemble in the correct order and do the right thing. But anyway, we'll keep on keeping on. Righto, so we've got all our timing stuff out, and I've just done a little bit of a Google just to make sure we have correct torque specifications for putting it all back together. Just upon inspecting a lot of the stuff around here, I'm pretty sure that at some point in its life this poor little motor's been neglected a little while for an oil change. It's a little bit dirty, there's a little bit of gross stuff in here, and it would actually sort of explain as to why the timing chain was fairly loose and rattly, given that the motor only has 70,000 Ks on it. So, not to worry, obviously, it's in my hands now and I'm taking good care of it and doing all this maintenance as it needs it. And, you know, obviously going to continue to service it properly. But yeah, I believe at some point it's been neglected a little bit. So, anyway, that would explain why we're doing this at the moment. But at least we know once this thing goes back together, she'll be brand new, good as new, really nice. So, start flogging it back together now. Righto, so all new timing gear, brand spanking, everything looking great. So now all that's left to do is pull our pins and turn it over and make sure nothing fails on anything. But looks to be fine. Everything's obviously been completely Loctited. Always Loctite stuff on timing things, or anything that's spinning, we always Loctite the shit out. So anyway, I guess we'll pull the pins and give it a go. And tunk. And tunk. There we go. Kapow. Should be right once she turns over.
Yeah, they'll still need some hydraulic.
Yeah, a bit of oil pressure. They are, yeah, sorry. I meant to say there's hydraulic tensioners, which means they actually push out with oil pressure. So that's why we made sure that all of the feeds were nice and clean and not gunked up and blocked up, which is when I sort of discovered that I reckon that it may have been a little while between oil changes at some point. So it's just a matter of making sure all those feeds are fine. All right, turn them over and make sure it doesn't collide on anything. But it should be fine. All right.
Seems to have plenty of compression.
Motor seems healthy. Yeah, those tensioners are not doing too great with no oil pressure, but regardless, it's turning over and nothing's hitting, which means it must be timed pretty well. So, Just needs to be run with some freaking oil pressure. God, it's got some compression. Anyway, it's not hitting on anything, so. Righto, so timing's done, we're back together. New front main seal, good as gold. We've just chucked the sump back on to button it up while it's apart for a few days. So just waiting for the rear main now, and then we'll do the rear main and then we can re-button up the sump properly. Feel much more comfortable about actually doing this and taking the sump off rather than doing the rear main the way we were going to, because it just eliminates the possibility of the sump leaking. Because after pulling this thing out and what we've had to do to it, the last thing I want to do is have to pull it out again because something's leaking. So definitely going to make sure this is buttoned up nice and good and tight and isn't going to leak. But anyway, that's one step closer. Timing set's done, so just got to wait for the rear main to get in next week, or later on this week, and the engine mounts and the other stuff I've ordered, and then we can hopefully get it all together and back in the car, new clutch and everything on it. So be a whole new car after that, be mint. Anyway, we'll pick this up when that stuff gets here. But yeah, definitely a lot of what I've seen today from pulling this thing apart, just as far as we have, is that I think at some point it's definitely been neglected in its short little life, this poor old engine. So definitely a lot of things to point to the fact that it's definitely been run with oil for way too long. So once it's together and back in the car, I'm going to do an oil flush. So I'll probably leave that filter on it for now. I'll buy some cheap oil and some flush additive, and I'll do an oil flush when I get it back together and in the car, and then dump that oil and hopefully flush a lot of that gunk and crap out of it, and put me good Penrite stuff in after that. So that's going to be the plan. And yeah, after that, bit of injector cleaner maybe as well, and some good fuel. And I always run my cars on 98 anyway, so she gets run on 98. She gets the treatment. So yeah, after that it'll be all pretty much a brand new, all of a major service sort of done. Yeah, it should be right for a little bit longer. I did notice when I had it on the hoist the other day as well, it's going to be due for front brakes soon as well. So I'm thinking about maybe, I know that you can put the, I think it's N14 pulsar. There's some sort of pulsar you can put front brakes on them, and they're a lot bigger than the Micra brakes. It's pretty much a big brake upgrade for the Micra. So might look at doing that as long as I can still fit my little dragways, because I don't want to go putting big brakes on it if I can't fit my dragways, because got to have street cred with the wheels. Anyway, we'll see how we go tomorrow. Righto guys, it's been a hot minute. We had a few days where we had to do some stuff around the property and do some other things. So back to working on the Micra now, trying to get this thing finished off. We've got the diff sorted in the Hilux, so it's pretty much all sorted now. Anyway, different video. But as you can see here, I've got some more parts here for it. We've got a rear main seal which finally came in, 2 engine mounts, and my 2 axle seals for the gearbox for the new CV. So while it's on the stand, just taking the opportunity to clean up the block surface for the sump sealing surface, because I'm going to have to take it off the stand to install the rear main seal plate properly and actually clean up where the plate goes on the block. So yeah, while it's on the stand, do what I've got to do, and at the moment I'll put the new rear main seal in the main seal plate, and then I'll pull the engine off the stand, and then we can actually start assembling it all together and get the sump back on. I've got to clean up the actual sump as well. But plan today, we've got Adam here doing some loud things, as you can hear. So I'm going to try and get this motor and sort of gearbox back together so that it's ready to go back in the car today. And then me and Adam have got to do some other work. And then tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get this thing back in the Micra and get it all sorted. So that's the plan for today. Well, that's the plan at the moment. Hopefully that's how it goes. We've actually got a guy coming out from Telstra today to hopefully put a repeater on the shed so that we actually have some phone service out here so that we can actually, effectively run a business. So hopefully that works out as well. So we'll just see how we go today. It's not a lot of work to do today because we've got a bit of other stuff on, so I didn't want to overcommit. But I want to pretty much have it ready so that tomorrow we can just get the Micra in here and get it in the car, because I want it done. Righto guys, so stickers have arrived. I'm talking round, I'm talking square, I'm talking black, and I'm talking white, and there's also on-song ones if you would like to buy them. So I'll leave a link down in the description. I'll link to the online store. You can go and buy some stickers if you would like to. That's what they look like, that's what they are. They're very simple for this first sort of drop. I got more coming. I know a lot of you want me to do the render that I've got of the R31 for the t-shirt as a sticker, which I will do. I'm in the process of doing that as well, so there will be more stickers coming, but these are available now, so go and cop one if you like. Anyway, this motor's sort of getting pretty close. I took it off the stand, did the rear main, and then I decided to put it back on the stand so I could flip it up and do the sump properly. It's not something I want to be having to pull out ever again. It's a real pain in the ass to do. And obviously being a daily, I really don't want it to leak. It'll really annoy me. So I thought I'd just do what I have to do to make sure it's done completely properly. So the motor is essentially done now, so. Oh, nice. Look at that, some stickery doos. Anyway, that's probably gonna be it for the Micra today because we've got to put this thing in that thing. So we'll be back on the Micra tomorrow probably. Ooh. But go cop a sticker. Not.
Do it, buy a sticker, buy a sticker, buy a sticker, buy a sticker.
Righto guys, back again today. Super late start today. Just dad things, it didn't happen this morning. So late start today, still got to finish off a few things in this Hilux. So, and I plan on taking Jacob's Corolla back down to him on the coast. So probably won't actually get the motor into this Micra today after all my jumping up and down. But the plan is still to have the motor and gearbox together ready to go so that we can just do it tomorrow. It's not a big deal because we're not super busy with anything tomorrow either. So tomorrow I sort of was a bit open for the day anyway. So it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. It's just that I would have liked to get it done today, but that's not going to happen anyway. I'll finish off a few things and we'll get cracking. Check this out. Oh, look at that. So I had sort of started filming what we were doing to the Hilux over the past week since it left with the new gearbox. But I decided probably not to put a video out. I'm starting to get a bit more picky with the content I make, I suppose, because it takes so much time for me to make it. And it's another one of those things where I sort of felt like I was just making a video for the sake of making a video. It wasn't that exciting. So pretty much what happened is he took it, the diff broke, came back, we replaced the diff, put a new center in it. Now we're putting a Hot Boy race seat in it, and that's pretty much it. So that's all you had to know. And it was pretty pointless, I thought, making a whole video about it, and they already know what's going on. So that's what happened with the Hilux. Anyway, I'm hoping that he actually will let us tune it soon, because I really want to. But anyway. Righto guys, so I've given the bell housing a good clean up with some degreaser and the gurney. I took the throwout bearing off. I'm pretty sure I explained, but apparently there's none of these in the country, and the wait for one is like really long time, and it's also like 70 bucks. This one feels fine. I did my best to sort of clean it out and then repack it with as much grease as I could get in there, so hopefully it's going to be fine. But apart from that, that's all pretty much ready to go. It's a lot cleaner than it was. Nice clean bell housing. I've given the flywheel here just a quick whiz over with the orbital, or the whizzer. The idea with that is almost pretty much the same idea as obviously getting it machined. It's just that the flywheel wasn't that bad. Like, you know, there's a few hot spots here and there, but there's no cracking or anything that's bad. So it's just a bit of a cheaper way to get out of it. It's just a quick whiz. It's the same idea as honing a bore. It's just so that the clutch has that nice new surface to bed into, not like a glazed, polished surface. So that's all the idea of that is, just some 240 on the whizzer and just give that a quick whiz. Made a mess of these dowels trying to get them out. They were really grown in there. It was a real pain, so I had to file them back down. But now I can clean this up and get these dowels back in it, and it's pretty much ready to go. And slowly as I go between things, just putting ancillaries back on the motor wherever I can remember they are. But yeah, making slow progress between doing this thing, but we're getting there. So time to pretty much clean this up, put the dowels back in. I'll make sure I get everything else back on the ancillaries on the motor that I want to get on while it's out of the car. Bless myself. And then we'll try and get the new clutch and get the gearbox on the engine. Get it back on the pallet in one piece, ready to go with its new output seals. That's the other thing I've got to do, output seals. I've got to get the new mounts on and get it in the car tomorrow, and everything will be brand new. Righto, she's off the stand. You can see me fresh rear main, all looking nice and good. I put so much RTV on the sump, I really don't want it to leak. So, but yeah, we're looking good to go. So sandwich plate goes on, and then flywheel, and then clutch, and then gearbox, and then I can go in the car. So I'm going to have some words with our spare parts supplier, because I told him there was no throwout bearings in the country, but there's actually one right here. Who would have thought? So anyway, that was stupid. Anyway, I'll put that in there now, so that's great. That actually puts my mind at ease, and I'm quite happy that that's there. So anyway, we'll clean up the pressure plate with some thinners as well. We've done the flywheel, it's cleaned up with thinners, and we'll get this clutch on. So we're getting close to where I want to be today before I leave. All right, fresh clutch, free shavakadu, and in with a new throw-out bearing, and out with the stinky old one. Yay! All right. Now we're just going to put the two together, and then we're pretty much where we need to be. Actually, first I've got to knock out the other CV on the other side of the box and put the seals in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, new seals. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, boy. Oh yeah, nice. I'm seriously so happy that that actually had a new throw-out bearing. I'm so much happier that that has happened. All right, motor and gearbox back together, ready to go back in the car, all freshened up. So that's going to be it for today. I'll take Jacob's car down to him now, and then tomorrow, hopefully the ground's dry enough outside and dried out a bit more today that we can push the Micra in without much trouble. We'll get the Hilux out of here, and we'll get the motor and box in it tomorrow. Hopefully really fast and easily with no troubles. That would be grouse. All right, so it's finally the day the motor's going in the Micra. I cannot believe how much this seemingly... I can't believe that I wanted to do this in one day originally. And it's stretched over like 4 or 5 days now. What a pain. Anyway, Micra's inside. As you can see, the Skyline's back. So, you know, you can look forward to some more content of that fairly soon. We're going to do a few things to it. But I got some of just the lowest viscosity oil that I could possibly find this morning at the servo, which is 5W30, and some engine oil flush additive from Newland. So, once I get this thing in there, I'll give this engine a nice good flush with that really low viscosity oil and that flush additive. Try and get all that gunk that's built up from someone who's left it over like too long between services, and then obviously change the filter and put my new Penrite oil in. So after that, she should be minty fresh. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be today. So not going to waste too much time. I'm going to get into it, try and get this thing in there. I want it done, finished this afternoon, and I want to see what this thing looks like with our new springs with the motor in it. Hopefully, mint. Hopefully it sits perfect. Righto guys, I was going to chuck you on time lapse, but I just decided I couldn't be bothered. It's not really that exciting anyway. But the thing's pretty much all together. Everything's back in there, back together, back hooked up. Just filled it with gearbox oil, which took ages. As you can see, we've got some new fresh CVs in there. Nice new spitty pins. Yeah, so pretty much everything's done. Now it's just a matter of chucking oil in it and water, and we can start it up and check for leaks. And newspaper to sleep on. But yeah, there better not be any leaks, because if there are, they're just probably going to stay there because I'm not pulling the motor back out. Oh, actually, after all that, so the bottom mount, or the passenger side mount, which is down there, you could probably see it from better from underneath, but this one here, this mount that I got that was new was actually wrong. So that is the wrong mount, which is a real pain in the ass. So I've got to try and find another one now. So I just made a point of making sure the bolt that goes through the mount comes in from the back, so that I can actually get at it all in the car, so that hopefully it's pretty easy to change out when I can get another one. So that's the only thing that's a real pain. But anyway, we'll chuck some oil in it and some water, and we'll start it up, and it'll get hot, and we'll put our oil flush additive in it, and then I'll probably just let it get hot and cool a couple of times to try and really flush it out, and then I'll dump that oil, and I'll put in my new Penrite stuff with a new oil filter, and should be good to go. Take it for a strap down the road, so like try and get the springs to settle a bit, bring it back, maybe adjust the panhard, and then start looking at getting it booked in for an alignment. I've still got to fix a few little things with it as well, but I'll see if I can be bothered to get to them. Huzzah! Running, very nice. And no timing chain rattle, which is very nice, because I would have been mad if that was timing chain rattle, because that was the whole point of the exercise. So hopefully once I actually put the high viscosity oil in it and it gets a bit more oil pressure, hopefully it'll shut up even more. But yeah, sounds good, running nice, no fires. So now I'll get it hot, chuck in the flush additive. Like I said, I'll heat cycle it a few times with that flush additive in it, try and really flush everything out with that low viscosity oil in it. I've still got to fix the door release, the fuel door and the back door release on the set, like in the car. I don't know, brain fart. It doesn't actually work, so I need to fix that, and I still need to fix there must be like a hole in the washer bottle, it leaks. So I needed to pull the washer bottle out and just try and like silicone it up for now. And if that doesn't work, well then I'll buy a new one. But if I don't have to, I won't. So no, it's actually probably gonna be easy to pull that out now while I'm waiting for it to heat up and stuff. So I might do that now. All right, she's all done. Got the new pen ride all in it. Dropped it down. The front's looking nice and about exactly where I wanted it. The back, not so much. So hopefully she still settles quite a bit. But anyway, I'm just about to take it for a drive and just try and settle them springs a bit. So I'll go for a drive around and just try and settle it. Just see how it feels, see how it handles with these springs in it. Hopefully pretty good. And that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I'll get some drone footage of it after it's settled. Oh, also found the problem with the wiper fluid. There's nothing wrong with the bottle, which is good, but it's a problem with the pump, and I broke the pump for the rear window as well. So I need new pumps for it, but it means I've got to put the bottle back in and put everything back together because I don't actually need to have to get at the bottle. You can get at the pumps from underneath the car. It's easy enough. So do need to replace those, and haven't done the fuel on that yet. But again, it's not really worth filming. It's not worth doing, but it will get done. All right, she's a whole new car, guys. Whole new car, awesome. So settled a little bit, not as low as I thought it was going to be. Hopefully it continues to settle for a bit longer. I wouldn't mind if it dropped like another sort of maybe 10 is where I thought it would be all round. For some reason the front left looks to be a little bit lower than everything else. I don't really understand why, but again, I'll just wait. I'll give him some time to settle before I go jumping the gun on investigating things too badly. But see, it seems like this one is a lot lower, just this one front wheel. But regardless, with these springs in it, it feels way more planted on the road. Feels a lot better on the road. The motor is so much quieter now. Like before, I was really worried about doing 100 k's an hour because it sounded really bad. It sounded like the motor was working real hard. It sounded like it was about to explode. Doing 100 k's now just seems fine. It's dead quiet. So yeah, entirely new car. I dare say someone at some point has neglected the poor thing for too long between services. And I think it's just what did those tensioners. I think the tensioners were pretty much gone because they were full of crap in the oil. Like that oil that we flushed out. Like we ran it twice for about 15 minutes and it just came out super black. Like it did filter out a lot of crap that was in there. So yeah, much nicer now. Yeah, everything seems fine. Draft shaft seems fine. Everything seems really good. Steering's still a little bit doughy, but like I said, I've got to get it. I'll let it settle, drive it for a little while, let the springs settle, and then I'll get it in for a realignment. Once it's aligned again, hopefully it takes a little bit of that sponginess out, but the other thing that comes with it is just the fact that it's on some really high profile tires. So you're always going to get a little bit of that sponginess. You're not going to have that real good feedback with that massive profile on the tire. But that being said, because the drive that I have to do in this thing is long and bumpy, it's nice to have the high profile tires. It does take a lot of that roughness out of the road. So honestly, I think it's sitting pretty well, pretty good height as far as like still looks good at this height, but isn't too low that I can't do the daily drive on that road, which is pretty rough. So yeah, I'm stoked with it. So a few little things to keep fixing. I've still got to finish off that other engine mount that was wrong. So when I go to get a new one of those or get that replaced, I will get some new wiper motor pumps, or wiper washer pumps, I should say. And still got to fix the fuel door, but not worth making content out of that. It's pretty boring. So that's pretty much the end of this video. I'm going to wait until the morning to get some drone footage in the driveway, the same way I got it at the start of this video, so that it's in some nice light. We get good light in the morning at the front here in the driveway. So I'll get some drone footage of it in the morning, so you've got a bit of a before and after. And yeah, I'm stoked. Okay, I'm stoked it's finally done. It dragged on for way longer than it was meant to. But yeah, sweet. I lied, it's not over because I hadn't sticked it up the car yet. Pow! Look at that. So, link in the description. Go to the online store, grab yourself some stickers if you want to support the channel. So anyway, thanks to Rex for all his help with this thing. Pretty much working for free. Anyway, so that's going to be it for this video. So enjoy the drone footage on your way out. Smash like, smash subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, guys. Catch you later. it.